Everybody, welcome to my channel, Be Free Now with Maria. Today I want to ask, are you betraying yourself? And self-betrayal, is interesting because it can manifest itself in many different ways. But in a nutshell, I'll describe it as a sacrificing of yourself to maintain relationships under a false pretense. In other words, you do things, you say things, and you try to become a certain way so that you get accepted, right? So that people like you, trust you, accept you. And we all want to be accepted. But when we are doing what we think other people need us to do in order to be accepted, we are betraying ourselves, right? We're betraying what we really want to create and establish for ourselves internally, emotionally speaking, because our focus is about making them happy and not meeting our own needs. And the needs that we have may not really be so different than what we're exhibiting in that moment, but it's the intention behind what we're doing at that moment. In other words, if we're doing it to people please so they like us, right there the intention is off, even if it is, coming from a kind place. So it's not so much about whether it's kind or not kind, is what's the intention behind it. And that's what we really want to look at, because if we don't, we'll continue to repeat that, right? We continue to do things to be accepted and so forth, but we then create an imbalance within ourselves. And what ends up happening is that we end up, building resentment, blaming other people, attacking them, even if not like physically attacking them, but mentally in our stories, in our mind, and what we think about them, we will attack them and blame them and so forth. So that's because, right, whenever we're feeling imbalance, we're going to start really feeling anger behind all of that. That's really what we're feeling, is anger at the fact that we're betraying ourselves, that we're not honoring ourselves, that we're doing things to make other people happy, or at least that we think this is what other people need from us so that they can feel happy or like us and accept us and so forth. But it leaves us, holding the bag, because there's a need that we have that we're not acknowledging, that we're not taking care of. And that need is to just be liked for who we are, as we are, right? To be able to be ourselves, to be able to give ourselves whatever it is that we need, to honor whatever it is that we need, right? So that if we need alone time, that we give ourselves that without feeling guilty. That if we need anything, that we give it to ourselves without feeling guilty. So this is not about, right, not being there for other people, but how we're there for other people and what we do with our own personal needs in order to be there for other people is what I'm referring to, that we need to look at. Because if not, it is going to leave us feeling resentment and emotionally heavy, and then of course creating these interpersonal problems that we're going to experience because of this resentment and the blame that comes with it. And it leaves us really in a very yucky, heavy space, and going over and over and over again over stuff that is just not exactly, how do I say, it's not exactly the truth about what is really upsetting us. In other words, we're going over and over again over the stories and the situations that are happening, but we're not really acknowledging the fact that we're betraying ourselves. And this is what is leading to everything else, including the anger, right, that we have on a subconscious level over these sacrifices that we're making to maintain these relationships under false pretenses. So it drains us, right? So what we want to really start thinking about is start understanding what's behind our people pleasing, or our need to be to want to do things for people, become what we think they want us to become so that we're liked, right? Because the more we understand something, the better we are able to deal with it. But first we have to understand it. The next thing we want to look at is, right, we want to start understanding our divine self, because our soul and our divine self is so much bigger than our physical self. And when we understand that, we also see ourselves more expansively, as opposed to just like these, measly human beings who could only do but so much. When in reality, right, there's this divine energy that lives and breathes through us, and we are capable of so much more, right? And we are capable of feeling so much better. So we want to understand that as well, right? And that's something that we want to look at. The other thing is, right, we want to start learning how to love ourselves more, right? Self-love sounds like, just love yourself and all be well, can come across like that, right? We hear self-love often enough, but it is a deep relationship that we are establishing with ourselves, and that is also connected with our soul. And when we are practicing self-love, we're expanding, right, the feelings within us, the good feelings within us, and we're learning to love and honor ourselves through that process. And we learn to see our worth and accept that we matter. And last but not least, we also want to learn how to start saying yes to our soul. Right? Our soul is calling us. Our soul wants us to feel good, right? Soul wants to feel good, wants us to feel good. Not really like there's a separation, but it's like this completion within ourselves, right? There's this like connection that internally wants to be expressed and wants to be whole and complete, but we're blocking it every time we say no to ourselves, and we saying yes to others just to be liked and to be wanted and accepted and so forth. So I wanted to share that with you today, but also before I end, I want to pick a word and see what else I want to share with you, or what I'm inspired to share. Okay, let's see. I got excited. I love that. So excited. Yes, excited is what we're going to feel when we start honoring ourselves, when we stop betraying ourselves. Yes, we're going to feel excited. We're going to feel good about ourselves. We're going to feel good about life. And we're going to start, and the reason why we're going to feel excited is because we're going to start living in a more expansive, whole, completed way. In other words, we're not going to leave ourselves back there. We're going to bring ourselves forward. We're going to acknowledge our needs. We're going to, right? And when we do that, we're going to feel excited about life. We're going to feel less heavy. We're going to feel good inside. So yes, excited, beautiful, beautiful word to close this message today. So I hope that has helped you in some way and that you have a beautiful day. Bye for now.